Hey my sugar bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, J. Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo?
Hey y'all, it's your girl J. Nicole and you're tuned into the Bougie AF channel where I say stay bougie and I'm serving you feminism for the soul. Don't forget to check me out on them people's Instagram at bougie, what is it? OG_bougie AF, and then also check me out on them people's Twitter at I'm_bougie_AF. You can also check me out on them people's TikTok at bougie AF609. So we are still into our Instagram scroll, social media, just talking about the different topics and stuff that is out there. You know how we do, talk our shit, pop our shit, crack these jokes. Okay, all right, so let's get into it. So we got it pulled up. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Real quick, I'm gonna throw this out there, and like I said, I'm not gonna do probably a YouTube video because I don't want my page to be flagged in any type of way. And TikTok is actually more lending to talking a little bit more about politics in a certain type of way. What I will say is, though, I have frequented a lot of different spaces and listened to a lot of rhetoric and seen a lot of rhetoric online in terms of Palestine and Israel. I recently, even at Thanksgiving, had a conversation with a young adult. I think she's probably 21. I'm not sure, 19 or 20, 21. She's around that age. And I forget how it came up because I don't know if you guys know, in my spare time in like real life, I don't bring up topics. I'm not one that's going to talk about politics. I don't have like a connection with you. Like we don't know each other. Like I'm not someone who needs to force my thoughts and opinions down anyone's throats or minds or anything like that. I'm not in the business of changing people's minds in like real life. So you could get the alphabet wrong in front of me and I probably wouldn't correct you. Like I'm not the corrector spirit. Like I'm not a teacher. Like I'm not any of those things, right? And I say that because people get so offended when you try to tell them something or try to imply that they're wrong. And equally, people don't like. My experience. I can only talk about what my experience has been. My experience is that people are intimidated by being around someone that may be smarter than them and know more than them, right? And for me, that's usually that has been a problem because I'm not like dumb. Right? Like I'm not dumb, but at the same time, like I'm not overly like trying to project or, you know, tell you everything that I know. Like I'm not that person at the same time. But you'll know when you like listen to me speak on like my podcast, and I think for a lot of friends, you will be around each other and nothing serious comes up. Like, we'll never really talk about anything deep or anything like that. Like, I don't know their thoughts on religion. I don't know their thoughts on politics. Like, their friends, like, I know none of their thoughts about some of the things that you guys hear me talk about. So when they listen to me in this type of way, they're like, oh, I didn't know she thought like that. And they really will get offended. Not talking about them, don't even know what their thoughts and opinions or anything about them in that type of way. And they still will be offended by it. Oh, why she don't say that stuff, or I didn't know that, because again, I literally meet people where they're at. And that's not to say like it's not me trying to throw no shade, but if we've connected and we didn't connect around talking about like social issues, politics, celebrity gossip, or whatever, then you probably won't see that side of me. You probably won't know my thoughts and opinions about things, and we probably would butt heads, but we that's just never been a part of our relationships. And I just think that when it comes to people, you have all different types of relationships with people. You have people you just go out with in terms of like partying. You have people that you sit on the phone with and you talk, and you have people that you actually tell things to, and you listen to their thoughts and opinions about things, right? Like there's different people for different things, right? I necessarily don't think that there's, and I enjoy people for who they are in what space that we connect in, right? I'm comfortable with that. I don't need to know your thoughts. I don't need to know if you vote. I don't need to know any of those things to connect with you, right? So that's where I'm at with it. Okay, so listen. I've been listening and paying attention to the whole Palestine and Israel conflict. Now, like I told you guys, and I'm a history buff. I pay attention to politics. When I'm on Clubhouse, the rooms that I enjoy to sit in are political rooms, right? I love listening and getting in understanding of like what are people's understandings of the things that are going on in the world, right? So that's for me. It's like a lot of research, and I early on when I seen the fuck shit on Clubhouse, I decided to do that. I think pretty much 3 weeks in, 2 to 3 weeks in. Oh, I knew what the fuck this was. I knew this was like, I had already been through some shit in my hometown, and when it came to like, Facebook groups and people exposing and strangers coming out the woodwork talking about you, gossiping, and other motherfuckers. I have had strangers in my own city try to call me out. I remember this like it was yesterday. And I think it was probably 50 Cent. And I tell the story all, and I love 50 Cent's demeanor of like how he deals with people. Like I've gotten so much game from like people like 50 Cent and Ice Cube, and just like really paying attention to them as like people, right? This bitch one day woke up on the Facebook in the group. Said my whole name, tried to tag me. Oh bitch, da, 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 da. I looked. I seen the shit. I was like, that's a stranger, bitch. We don't go back and forth with strangers. Who the fuck does that, right? And like, I'm not from the hood. I'm from the suburbs. But my game really does come from, like I said, I listen to a lot of, Finesse Tucson. I listen to hip hop. So I was like, I think it was 50 was like, yo, don't beef with people you don't know, because then you'll be beefing with everybody. You get what I'm saying? And then you don't even know who your beef is if you entertain somebody who you know that you ain't never had no dealings with, ain't never talked to, none of that. I never responded directly to the bitch. I said, tell her to post how she know me. Tell her to post how, and again, tell her to post how we know each other. What happened? Tell her post that. And she never wanted to do that, right? So at this time, I know who I got problems with, like, in my real fucking life. And these punk bitches, right? They ain't never called me out. They ain't say my name. But they using everybody else to get at me, because they know they lying. They know that they know that if it's me and them going back and forth, I burn shit to the ground. Oh hell, I hit the floor with it. I go to hell with it. So they know I'm gonna say some foul, fucked up shit out my mouth, and that's on God. Like to this day, I'm gonna say some fucked up shit, and I'm not gonna regret that shit. So they know they gotta use stranger people to get at me, because if I really, if it's them, oh no, you funky bitch, like what? You bitch, you let everybody in the hood play recess with the back of your throat. Like it's like I'm telling y'all, it's not gonna be cute, and I don't give a fuck. So they using all these other people to get at me, because and I know that's what they're doing, because again, punk ass bitches. So I go, anybody who I don't know, I just let it be. No, I ain't responding to no bitch I don't know. It is what it is. If I don't personally know you, oh, you a fan, Tell your friend to come say it, like just straight like that. But I tell y'all to tell you that I really got that from like 50 Cent. All right, let me get back to where I was at. We're talking about Palestine and Israel. All right, so early on, I just realized like I'd rather observe and watch and listen and try to get an understanding. And from listening to people who are like in the MAGA movement to people who are in complete denial about like facts and things that they see, right? Talking about Israel and Palestine, I am really disappointed with some of the views and some of the things I've been hearing from other black people. I've heard people talk about Palestine and this issue with conflict with Israel as if though they're talking about black people. And I remember one time there was this older gentleman, and older meaning 50 plus. And he's talking, and I'm like, is he talking about the civil rights movement? But he's literally talking about Palestine. And he's talking about the oppression, and he's talking about all this other stuff. I know what they taught me in my high school, right? In terms of like of the Jewish people and the Holocaust and stuff like that. I have a great idea of what our curriculum looks like in terms of history. And it's very, you spend a lot of times talking about the colonies. You spend a lot of times talking about slavery, but not in a deep type of way. They talk about, it happening, right? But there's no really kind of deep dive into like a lot of European history and stuff like that. Now, granted, I went to a school where we did take a European history class, right? So I know in some type of way I may have a leg up in that type of way. I also went to a school, we took a European history class, but we also covered, what did they make sure that they covered? Major, empires, right? So we're talking about like Egypt, you're talking about like Greek and Rome, you're talking about the Crusades and stuff like that. They made sure that they covered those type of things. So for me, my expectations of understanding of like what curriculum, what the curriculum's like, is a little different, right? I say that to say, when I sit and listen to some black people talk about like history and politics and stuff like that, and you're using what I think you're using what you know, and you're trying to apply it to the rest of the world, you're going to be a little off because the rest of the world doesn't see things in that black and white racial construct that we operate in, right? Because when you're talking about Israel and Palestine, I've listened to black people talk about Israeli people as if though they are talking about master. And they're talking about the white man and systemic whiteness that is happening in America, right? When Kanye did what he did in terms of turning around and saying those ignorant things about Jewish people, and I remember being on Clubhouse, and I remember saying, y'all are stupid. Y'all are listening to someone who's not on his medication, and he tells you that at times that he does not take his medication. But on top of that, y'all are listening to someone who's using stereotypes and propaganda that was used to turn the German people against the Jewish people, and scapegoatism, right? Like our economy's fucked up, inflation and all that is happening in Germany after World War I, and the Jewish people, they're thriving and they're good. They're the ones. They're the problem. That's essentially what happened, right? You had someone like a Hitler who had his own personal issues, and with Jewish people, he used them to raise himself up, right? Because anytime you can point to someone else for the reason for why we're suffering, people are looking for that. I know as black people in America, when it comes to our oppression and the systemic, racism and stuff that we deal with here, when it comes to us seeing white people as we just see white people, that we tend to say that they are our oppressors, right? And it gets a little complicated because in seeing white people that way, we happen to see Jewish people as white people. Even though, like, if you paid attention to the migration of like when Jewish people got into America, you'll realize that's not something that happened way after slavery, right? If you paid attention to the assimilation of the Jews, Italians, and the Irish, it wasn't something that just happened right away. That's something that happened over time, right? An Italian is most definitely considered a white person in America because they have assimilated that way, right? But if you're in Europe, an Italian person is not a UK person, right? It's not a France person, not person from France. Like, they are not the same people group, right? And they are very clear about that in Europe. But in America, it's different because we live within that racial construct that was created from slavery. So when we see an Italian person here, we just see a white person. And that just happens to be the same way that we look at Jewish people. We see a white person. Not necessarily that they are part of that original people group that enslaved our people. And so when I see Kanye play into what he knows is a sore issue in terms of white people and what they've done to black people, and he uses Jewish people because he's having his own personal issues with lawyers, his contracts, head of businesses may be Jewish people, Hollywood was created by Jewish people and stuff like that. right? You have that going, and he's mad about that, so he decides to turn the hate up on them, right? Everybody's the problem, from Kim, Nike. You remember the manipulation? Nike's trying to take my company from me. They don't want me to go to meetings, but he doesn't tell you about the inappropriate text messages and the things that he was doing that made them uncomfortable, and that you didn't want to associate with him because of that, right? But he'd rather manipulate you and make you think somebody's doing something to him. Or when, him and Kim decides that, they're going to have two separate parties. She's going to have her party and blah, 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 blah. But he'll get on Instagram Live, or he'll go live and record a video saying that she's trying to keep him from his kids because he understands that he's playing into the narrative of a white woman trying to keep a black man from his kids, right? Manipulation, basically, is what's going on. I say all that to say, in terms of talking about Israel and Palestine, when you look at history and look what has happened to the Jewish people, and you look at the spread of Christianity and Islam, and you look at how aggressive and violent both of those religions were spread throughout the world, you do come to the conclusion that the aggressor and the problem within the world has not been the Jewish people. Right? They have one state. They have been kicked out and persecuted in every country that they are in. Every country. And so when you start to feel like you identify with a group of people, I feel I identify more with the Jewish people than I do the Palestinian people. Right? In terms of hate and persecution and all those things that have happened to them. And so what I'm saying to us as black people, we do need to open up the way we view things and not so narrowly look at things through a pro-black lens. Our oppressors are white people, and apply that globally, because it does not fit. It does not fit the situation between Palestine and Israel, right? It just does not fit. And so, talking about, the U.S. school systems and the curriculum and stuff like that, studying those little things that I was able to study in high school in terms of like European history and stuff like that, I'm unique and I'm different, and I know that, and this is not the same because it's actually an interest of mine. It's a hobby of mine to research and find more things out about these different things, so I can talk to them in an informed type of way. And I understand we all have our hobbies, we all have things that interest us, right? I say that to say that learning and the responsibility of learning and finding things out is a lifelong commitment, right? As much as my school, dove into those things in terms of talking about, those empires and different people groups in the world and stuff like that, I had to do the work afterwards and do the research and find out more. I had to be curious, right? I didn't give up. I didn't stop thinking. I didn't stop being critical. I didn't stop wanting to know things, right? And I say that to say, as much as, I know the U.S. school systems are really, really bad. I mean, they are really, really bad. And from listening to you guys, it's really, really bad. And I know that bothers y'all that I say that. I know some of you feel like you've gone to college and you got these degrees, but it's really, really bad. I'm being complete. It's really, really bad. It's really, really bad, y'all. It's really, really bad. With that being said, I'll never completely blame the school systems because, like I said, it's a lifetime commitment of learning, and it's a lifetime commitment of not trying to get stuck in just wanting to read your favorite pro-black theories, ideologies, and authors. It's much bigger than that. And that's why I was always like, when I got on Clubhouse, oh, you're gonna tell me I'm not well read because you feel like I ain't read the shit that you read? That's crazy. How do you know when I've come to different enlightenment or how I've gotten my understanding? I didn't know we all had to read the same shit, right? may have learned some things in a different type of way than you did. Right? So, all I can say is there's no such thing as white science. Now there is such thing as white history. Now I can say history is always told by those who win the history, who wins, who you know what I mean. It ain't told by those who get conquered and all this other stuff. I can understand feeling as if though some history that is being taught is extremely skewed towards the conqueror, the winner, and all this other stuff. But you still have to go in and learn that. You still have to be able to apply the things that you learn in terms of what it feels to be a part of an oppressed group and how that could show up in different times throughout history, right? So I'm gonna leave it there. But I really most definitely wanted to put that out there in terms of this Jewish hate. And I'm not someone who says that, Israel, that there's no racism there. I'm not saying that. I'm not someone who's saying that Israel may be doing some aggressive things over there to the Palestinian people. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is once you kick it up a notch, what they did on October 7th, that petty back and forth that was happening between them. Once you do that October 7th and you send 500 missiles towards my country, I don't give a fuck what the rest of the world said. We gonna survive. And Jewish people most definitely have a right to feel we have gone through too much. Ain't nobody checking in with the rest of the world on how we gonna defend ours. Ain't nobody doing that. Right? And so I'm talking this way so other black people can simply get it. You have no right to tell these people how they should respond. You don't live in those type of conditions, right? You have a group of terrorists in Palestine that is saying from the river to the sea. And if y'all don't know that, it's from the Jordan River. I think it's to, I think it's the Mediterranean Sea. From Jordan River to the Mediterranean. I could be wrong. And that's the area that Israel occupies. So basically saying that they want to kill all of the Israeli people worldwide. And I have a problem with religion or any type of religion that hate is hiding in, right? A hateful message is hiding in, because I understand how manipulative that can be with you associating God with hate. And purpose and a mission. And that's essentially what we have here, right? And I'm so consistent. This is where I talk about being consistent, because if you go and read my profile, I literally say I like no religion that speaks a hateful message. And it's the reason why when I thought about converting to Nation of Islam and I went and did my research and I listened to what Farrakhan was saying in that pulpit and how hateful that message was towards Israeli people. I don't like any religion that is speaking towards hate. And I know as a black person in America, you don't have no real fucking beef with the Israeli people, right? And so I got to look at you a little funny when I know when it comes to the Nation of Islam, it's a religion that was created, a splint off religion that was created off of Islam in America, and has nothing to do with an experience or the Islamic people or the Muslim people here having an experience with Israeli people. That's them people's history over there, right? And so when I see you use that to galvanize people, when I see you use that to appeal to a certain group over there, I have a problem with it. And like I said, I'm consistent like any religion, anybody standing in the pulpit or speaking any hate towards people, I'm not for that. That is not religion. That's not God. That's not light. That's not anything that he speaks about. Right? So there's that blurring of the line that I'm extremely uncomfortable with. All right, so we're going to get into one story and then we're going to get out of here, because that was like super, super long. That was 23 minutes and I didn't know I was going to do all that, but I had to holler at and talk about that a little bit. All right, so say here, Tamar takes accountability for her breakup with Jeremy J.R. Robinson. We broke up because of me. Okay, so, I mean, I'm going to play this in a second, but if you don't know, let me get you caught up. So recently, about like a week or two ago, JR, who is Tamar's white ex fiance, I guess they back on now, he was seen at a basketball game or something with Tommy Lee from Love and Hip Hop. Now, this is after him and Tamar broke up, and he released a foul statement of saying that basically she's too toxic, negative, and all those things, and that, he didn't want that in his life. He wants peace, light, and all this other shit. Bullshit as shit niggas be saying. He's not even, well, he is close. I mean, his history, it's just so much with this white man. But anyway, he was just saying, like, things to just, like, kind of get at her, tried to imply that she's, like, a negative, toxic person, kind of feeding into, like, the stereotype and the things that people have implied about her from, like, old friendships and old falling outs with people. I am a Tamar fan, and I know sometimes, like, and it may not appear that way for a lot of celebrities, because I will most definitely talk about them. But I would most definitely give, like, a harsh critique, like, if something comes up. But I've always said, when it came to Tamar, I just wish she would just accept who she is, right? Like, I don't know. I just feel like always trying to change yourself, and that there's those who will gravitate and love you for who you are, right? I remember there was this scene for, when the Braxton sisters and the mother was on Ayanna Van Zandt, and Tony was expressing herself about how Tamar is a little bit too much to mine. Yeah, I know Tony's my favorite. She's in my top 5. There's no Tony Braxton slander over here. Okay. But I really felt this. Tony was telling Tamar that it's a bit much sometime. And I remember Ayanna Van Zandt said, has she always been this way? And Tony said yes, right? And then I think more or less it was concluded. How you mad at somebody for all being themselves? This is her. This is who she's always been, right? And sometimes people will be like, "Oh, this person's too much. This person, this and this and that." And it's a little different with your family, right? Because no matter what, you're gonna fuck with this person because you're related to them, and it's a little different than just being friends. But if someone is who they are, right, and they're not hurting anybody, right, they're not doing anything that hurtful to anybody, and it's just a preference of that, it's not something that you would do, leave that person the fuck alone. And I've had to come to that conclusion even with myself, and people who may not like me for me being me, and it's sort of like, you don't like me for me being myself. Am I hurting anyone? Did I do anything to hurt somebody? Right? And so you don't get to come along, because who the fuck is you? You don't get to come along and project you on me. I'm me. I'm me. I'm busy doing me, being me, comfortable in my skin. And I just want Tamar to get to that place where she's like, I'm me. Like, it is what it is. Did I do something to offend you? Did I personally say something to offend you? Did I treat you over? Because if this is a conversation about me being me, extra popping my lips and all that other shit, then there's no conversation. What? You ain't got to be bothered with me. Right? And so I want her to get to that place instead of always telling us changing. I'm sorry, y'all. She be driving me crazy with that shit. Changing for the better. And it's like, girl, you were just gossiping with Jason Lee in his inbox. What are we talking about? And I'm not mad at you, but just be like, that's how I felt, and that's what I said. Like, it is what it is. I don't see it for her. She don't see it for me. Just stand on your 10 about your shit. Because those who fuck with you, gonna fuck with you. And that's just how I feel about it. I fuck with her, so I never understand her over-explaining herself. But here we go. Let me tell y'all something about me. Even if it is me, I'm not getting on this motherfucking internet and doing this shit. Yeah, I mean, take we just back together, and it just is what it is. Beyonce didn't come to this internet and tell y'all why she took Jay-Z back. Jay-Z had to tell y'all I had to find a God. That worked for me to get right with my wife. You know what I mean? But I just hope it works out. I just hope it works out. I just hope it works. I mean, and then she talk about she's happy, and it don't even really kind of seem that way. But I know, again, I hope it just works out because this shit is crazy. This nigga came to the internet and said you were negative. All right, so it says here, let's see what the co-hosts have to say. Love to see it. Accountability is growth. Love to see it. Nigga broke up with you publicly, got with an enemy, and now you're arguing over Pringles. Man, stand up. It's the way he broke up and he announced it though. Like he really tried to. Like my whole thing is right, and even if it is her, this is it. Even if it is her, why did you announce it to the public and play into the stereotype and the things that people try to insinuate about her? Right? Like why play? Like why make her defend her character, her personality, and all these other things, right? Why do that to her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why send her on that roller coaster? Why do that? That seems very petty, childish, and all these other things. And so, as much as she's saying it's her, I still don't feel like you should have announced that to the world, knowing that it's an issue for her. Now, it's not an issue that I would be dealing with, but it's an issue for her in terms of trying to tell the world and tell people that may have associated with her in the past that she's different. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that to niggas in my past. Same bitch. You tried it. Straight like that. You know what I mean? But, Tamar's a little, I guess. She feels like there's something about her she gotta change, and I guess now she letting the white men play in her face. Okay, girl. The ancestors are disgusted. Girl, stand up. She always been the problem. This woman is damn near 50 and still acts like a child. I can never forget how she treated Tracy. Yeah. Yeah, there were things that you did to your sister that was very, not cool. The shade, talking about her using, y'all know that microphone that T-Pain used to use, that he was famous for. Yeah, there was just things that she did. Tamar gives bipolar to me. And don't leave out he was cheating, chasing you, to get you back either. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of writing for Tamar and her man. I'm not reading that. She act like she can't be alone. That man played right in her face. Ain't no motherfucking way. Okay, my co-host is on point. Like, this just ain't no fucking way. Like, it could have been me, but the way you tried to play into something I'm sensitive about gives manipulative, you know what I mean? Head games. Like, I'm not with that. She always does this. She went back to the African too. I didn't believe this. Wow. Y'all so quick to judge her, but y'all was the same people who claimed that she lacked accountability when it came to her ex-husband. Yes, she has had her moments, but my opinion, she's maturing. It starts with accountability. I never thought she lacked accountability with her ex-husband, talking about Vince. I think there was just clearly some things that we didn't see in terms of that relationship, and I think the sisters alluded to some type of an abusive relationship that was, right? Like we thinking that we were getting sister moments and it's just all the females, but he's in the background, right? She's only showing up and he's always there and stuff like that. So no, I won't say that she lacked accountability for Vince. I think Vince knew exactly what he was showing us in terms of, like, you didn't pick up on his abusive ways. And some abusers, and most women should know that, like, there are some abusers who's really, really good at hiding it. So you took him back after he embarrassed you with the next chick, regardless of it being for a jab, joke, key. We ain't see this man fight for you. We seen him show up with Tommy. To me, you a yam head man clown. Oh, Jamaica. I don't know what a yam head is clown. I'm gonna have to ask a Jamaican person, a yam head man clown. You're a yam head. That's funny. This man has 40 kids and 55 BMs. Girl, he's manipulated the situation by going to your ops. And now you back with him. The stories write themselves. Girl, don't they? And you flicked up with an op to get underneath my skin. Like, so it's like this gameplay that I don't like that at 50. Cause I can't do that as a woman. You hook up with a nigga's op and take pictures and be around a nigga's op. You just like dead to them for life. You an op at this point. Like there's no coming back for that firm when it comes to men. They're feeling violated. And you hooked up with Tommy Lee from Love and Hip Hop. You call me toxic and said all this shit, but you want to be seen with the bride of Chucky? Oh no! Oh no! Where did he should have gave you a gift or something? Just something like, cause that was so disrespectful. The Tommy Lee's the disrespectful, and you know Tommy's crazy. He's a Gemini, but you with my aunt and she's smiling and looking. Oh no! You going outside, miss? You're a Braxton, for God's sake, act like it. That's a fact. We ain't never seen Tony. I mean, Tony might have, from what said on the Braxton family, she might have, her and Carrie might have, still been sleeping around with each other afterwards. But she ain't, she ain't step out in public and make nothing official, depending on what happened. Like, she kept that shit player. And y'all don't believe Krishan when she said she was set up. I believe Krishan was set up. But because Tamar's more famous and a good singer, everyone believed her. Interesting. Laugh out loud. Tamar been crazy for years. Stop letting the singing and praising. Okay, and praising to God fool you. Don't let that shit fool you about people. She ghetto too and a problem. Yeah, don't let that shit fool you about that praising God and all this sort of stuff. Because again, like we see Young Thug and all this other stuff, people play with religion at its convenience. They know it resonates with people in a certain type of way, and they know to come out and say that. They know to come out and say certain things. I'm just being keeping it humble and getting right with God. Like they say everything underneath the sun to get away with their bullshit. But there's another clip. All right, so let's go to the other clip. Here we go. Says here, Tamar snatched her man back from Tommy grasp. You fucking with Tommy's crazy. I agree that she seems as though she can't be alone. Like, even that situation was so crazy. Look at it. So this is the situation they're talking about. Ooh, she's so thirsty. Ooh, thirsty. He just as thirsty. He's just as thirsty. Holly Robinson Pete had to come out and get him together when he was like, oh, I didn't even want to be on that show. They begged me. And Holly was like, no, we didn't. And you were the most ready and the most wanting to be a part of that situation. Oh, clout chasing JR. But he looked like he could be like if they came back and did a whole nother, what's that show I used to like, Dallas? He most definitely looked like he could be the JR, the new JR in Dallas. Most definitely. He got that swag. Look at her old thirsty ass. Tommy, ain't nobody claiming you, girl. Ain't nobody claiming that crazy. All right, so what's the person say? Tamar snatched her man back from Tommy Lee's grass. Laugh a lot. Why am I in it? Y'all okay? No, that's so. This is Tommy. Laugh a lot. Why am I in it? Y'all okay? Because why were you sitting next to her man? Like, why'd you want to be pictured up with him? Like, come on, don't ask me if I'm okay when you doing not okay shit. Like, we gonna play stupid. Let's play stupid together. Not them playing hot potato with this white man. Ain't no way y'all fighting over the Dollar Tree Paul Wall. You were supposed to post yourself with a new man, Tamar. You weren't supposed to be like, I want my man back. You were supposed to post. Okay. Stroking that white man's ego, sad as fuck. I agree, girl. I agree. Now you letting the white man humiliate you. T, our ancestors is turning over. Girl, I don't want no man that decided to go be friendly with a woman I had words with. That's weird, and that's a hell of a fact. Nigga, go be in a. That's a fact. I had words with her, and you found your way to be in her face. Oh, okay. 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 Not sisters in comments clowning her for doing the same thing they do with their broke, busted, and abusive exes and baby daddies. So why is she reading everybody and can't post their faces at the breakup? What's that saying about a glass house? Well, girl, you ain't got to read everybody like that. I mean, they did put it on the motherfucking internet. If I'm gonna take a no good ass nigga back, I'm gonna take him back in secrecy, or at least try to keep it away from you niggas. Letting a white man publicly embarrass you as if our ancestors haven't suffered enough. Stand on. This is an L, Tamar. Like, it really is. Ain't no way I would have doubled back. Girl, stand the fuck up. No way. No way. I don't care if the breakup was my fault. Oh, okay, but you show me what you do. You know what I mean? You show me how you'd get at me. Like, in two different ways. He showed her how he would get at her with linking up with an op. Then he showed her how he would get at her with fucking with the, like, mentally. Like, the things that bother her. Like, you know, the fact that people think she's, you know, toxic and all this other shit. So, no, nigga. You know what you doing. Community meet, most definitely. These comments in shambles, and I only read about 10 so far. Too much. All right, so listen, that's all I got for this video, because like I said, I did not know I was going to, you know, I didn't know I was going to talk about the Israel and Palestine so much. Was there another video to this? Let me make sure before I let y'all go. All right, that's all we got. So y'all know how we do it here. We keep it bougie as F, we keep it posh as F, we keep it black as F. We keep being blessed as F. And y'all be black, y'all. Kiss, 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 and bye.